Welcome to Virtue Clothing YouTube channel. Thank you if you're a returning subscriber. Thank you for always watching our videos. And if you haven't subscribed, please kindly support our brand by subscribing to our YouTube channel and also hitting the notification bell. In this video, I will be showing you how we drafted the bodies of these corsets for a client. So it has three parts: the illusion part of the bodies, the bust area, and then the basque. Those are the three aspects that I'll be showing you in this video. So kindly sit down and watch. So we started by drafting by ruling a straight line which will serve as the center front of the pattern. Then measured from the shoulder point to the chest line. Then the underbust, the half length, and then the final length of that's the abdomen, the area where the basque will stop. So you confirm that you have that across the pattern paper. So for my bust point, I get the measurement from the chest line to the underbust line. Once I get the midpoint, that will serve as my bust line. So you measure from the chest to the underbust, get the midpoint, and that will serve as the bust line. After that has been done, next thing is to mark out the bust width. Maybe if you divided your bust by 4 or you shared it in a way, because the front bust is usually bigger than the back. So wherever that measurement is, we take it all the way down to the abdomen length. And we'll mark out the shoulder measurements, of course the shoulder divided by 2, to get the armhole length. For the armhole, we usually get down 1 inch below the chest line, which will probably be around 8 inches for an average measurement. We get the shoulder slant. After that has been done, we went ahead to mark the nip to nip measurement. And like I said, this is focusing on the bust area. So the nip to nip measurement, we get that's from the chest to the underbust. Then we remove the dart intake, which we might not be cutting out, but we just need it to get the bustier area of the pattern. Then the same thing, after that we mark out the bust arc. That's the circle using from the bust point to the underbust measurement. Take it round the pattern paper, around the bust area, so if you get your circle, which will serve as the bust arc. Once the circle has been sorted out, next thing we'll do will be to get the actual measurement for the underbust. Mark it on the pattern paper, so with that we'll be able to remove the dart excess from the bust area. So we mark the actual underbust measurements we are using actual waist measurement. At least after you've indicated your snatch measurement for the waist and the abdomen. Usually you can snatch as high as 2 inches less than the actual measurement. That means if my waist is 30, I might want to snatch to 28 inches or 27 inches. So once that is done, next thing we did here was to remove the dart intake for the bust area. I like to kind of share the measurement into 2. So this is us getting the shape of the cup area because this is a two-piece corset. So based on the design we are working on, this is cutting out the net pattern of the design we are working on. That will be forming the illusion part of the neckline. Then of course you use your curve rule for this area, not a straight ruler, so you can get a curve because it's actually a curve, it's not a straight. Still marking the neckline, the illusion part here of the bustier area. So let's clean out the areas that we don't need so the pattern doesn't get too clumsy. Actually has to fast forward this video because it was more than 30 minutes, so it could be shorter. So next is to tighten the chest area because you want that chest area to be firm. So you can do that by doubling your dart intake. Yeah, sometimes I can actually add more like not just doubling it but tripling the measurement to make it very firm. Once that is sorted, that's the bust area. Next is the Basque area. So we determine the number of boning channel we want for the design and share accordingly. So here we divided the Basque area into 3 compartments. Now we have to share the dart excess around the 3 lines that we drew, including the side seam area. We also share the dart excess around the abdomen area accordingly. You can determine how you do this sharing. Like, it's not compulsory that it must be 50% by 50%. It can be 60-40, it can be 40-60, it can be 70-30%. So here I'm trying to make sure that I haven't taken out so much from the underbust area. Just confirming what has been taken out and what is remaining. So you can see we've taken out all the dart excesses out from the pattern. So let's cut out and see what we have. Kindly subscribe to our YouTube channel. Thank you for the like, thank you for the support. So this is the illusion part. This is the cup area, the 2-piece cup. We are cutting that out as well. So that's the side dart part of it actually. So you take it out and close it up with your masking tape. For my side dart, which is usually the front half length minus the back half length, I actually prefer taking out from this bust area not more than 1.5 inch. So the rest will be taken out from the lower part of the waistline, because the more you take out from the bust area, the bigger the cup gets. So I've had instances where some customers complain, my bust is already too big and this bustier is looking bigger. Especially you have if you want to use bra cup to fill up the excess that you will be having. If not, I prefer to just take out 1.5 inch maximum from that side dart. So we take out the remaining part of the side dart. So we've taken out all that excess. You can see that the patterns are labeled 1, 2, 3. So we don't want to misplace one, or maybe take one and fix where you are not supposed to fix it. So this for the illusion part. So what I do here is just once I finish drafting, I don't need to cut out the shoulder dart. I just mark out my armhole. The shoulder has been slanted already. Mark out the armhole and then the neckline. So you can see we have the 3 parts: the illusion part, the bust, the cup part, the 2-piece cup, and then the Basque area. So even at that, even though like I used measurement to do the dart sharing, I still want to confirm my measurement to be sure that I have what I planned getting. I always advise confirming your measurement over and over, even as you sew, because sometimes when you iron some fabric, they actually shrink or even expand. So if you assume that you've drafted a pattern, so I don't need to confirm measurement, you might end up having something smaller or something bigger. So I prefer confirming my measurement every step along the way. So this is marking out based on the style that we are making. We are cutting out the triangular part. Most times too, I might also leave out the triangular part like I'm done joining the whole. Yes, I know to an extent you kind of waste your stay and all of that, and still cut it out at the end of the day, which is actually the one benefit of drafting patterns before cutting on your fabric. So you don't get to waste your materials. So you can still see me confirming the 2-piece cup to be sure that they are equal, because sometimes you might assume that okay, you added other extension, you checked it. So I still confirm that on my pattern paper before I cut on my fabric. So if one is shorter, I can make adjustments before cutting. So we look at the style once again to cut the neckline. Sometimes some people assume that they already know what they are making, so they don't even look at the style a customer has picked. They just keep cutting. At the end of the day, you find out that it's already too late. You've made some mistakes that you can't even correct anymore. So we'll still confirm the measurements. I like to confirm my measurements. So these are all the parts we have for the front pattern. All set to be cut on the fabric. So let's go for the back. So the back, we rule a line just to serve as our center back. Then the shoulder line. We measure the armhole length. Then the back half length, which is usually different for most people. Usually different from the front half length. So this is the armhole line, not the chest line. And the back half length. So mark the shoulder measurement. If you notice, I didn't mention anything about zip allowance because finally we are still going to reduce the back for the lacing. So here I was coming down before I now remember that I'm actually using the armhole length, not the chest length. So I'll mark my bust measurement for the back. And of course I take that all the way down to the half length. Then before I take out the dart, I like to take out the measurement for the lacing. So I don't get to have the dart very close to my back lacing. So I like to take that out first. So I now check what I have left before marking the dart intake. So I think this is a little bit wide. You can make it smaller or closer a little bit. The shoulder slant for the back. And the armhole. So I confirm the back neckline with the front. Make sure that they are the same. That's the neck width. So that's for the back neckline. Yeah, I want to have bottom and a little opening, a keyhole opening at the back. So I confirm my measurement, very important. I love to confirm the measurement I have even before cutting. So we take out the dart excess. And don't forget the pattern we have here, there is no seam allowance whatsoever on this pattern. So don't make mistake of cutting without adding seam allowance on your fabric. So kindly comment on this video, like and share. And subscribe to our YouTube channel. It encourages us to post more. So I love my back curved. Like I came in here and I had to make adjustment on that. I like it curved at the back, not just straight. Yeah. Thank you so much. In the next video, I'll be posting the cutting of the fabric.